I'm currently on day release from Oxford Prison, which is an open prison. I've served the bulk of the sentence in more oppressive surroundings, concrete, stone, barbed wire, oppressive rules, shouting, screaming, violence, drugs. People, it's hard to describe, really. Disgusting food. One example, you look at the porridge they give us, it says grade 4 pig meal on it. That's how we're treated, really.
Rules and regulations for the common jail, known as Oxford Castle, 1840. The prisoners are judged to hard labour. Besides any other work or labour assigned them by the governor, shall work in grinding corn at the corn mill, or work at the tread wheels for 6 hours every day. All criminal female prisoners adjudged to hard labour shall wash and iron the linen for the use of the criminal prisoner.
Dear Gem, at last I've been transferred here to Oxford Prison. It's funny to think you're only a mile down the road. It's a really weird looking prison after all the modern ones I've been in. The cells aren't a bad size either. I suppose I can now tell people I live in Oxford Castle.
Every prisoner, upon his first coming, shall be examined as to his health and cleanliness, and his wearing apparel shall be fumigated and purified, if requisite, after which the same shall be returned to him or her.
Near this spot stood the ancient Shire Hall, unhappily famous in the history as the scene in July 1577 of the Black Assize, when a malignant disease known as jail fever caused the death within 40 days of the Lord Chief Baron and the High Sheriff of Oxford and about 300 more. The malady, from the stench of prisoners, developed itself during the trial of one Roland Jenks, a saucy, foul-mouthed bookseller for scandalous words uttered against the Queen.
Rule 1. The male and female prisoners shall be confined in separate parts of the prison, so as to prevent them from seeing, conversing, or holding any intercourse with each other, and the prisoners of differing classes shall not intermix with each other.
Dear Mandy, it was really lovely to see you last week. Nice to have a visit in the prison garden too, rather than a grubby hall. I've started the induction course, similar to what I did in Wellingborough Jail. It's actually quite interesting to hear other people's problems and why they're in prison, and opening yourself up intimately in front of others, which holds no fear for me at all.
Rule 11. All the criminal prisoners shall regularly attend divine service, whenever such service is performed, unless prevented by illness or by other reasonable cause, to be allowed by the governor, unless their attendance shall be dispensed with by one of the visiting justices.
Journal of John Wesley, November 1738. I preached twice at Oxford Castle today. In the following week, I began to narrowly inquire what the doctrine of the Church of England was concerning the much controversial point of justification by faith. On the following Sunday, I only preached in the afternoon at the castle. On Monday night, I was greatly troubled in my dreams. In the dream, one who had been designed to be my pupil, but was not, came into the porter's lodge with a pistol in his hand. He attempted twice or thrice to shoot himself, but it would not go off. He was very angry, went and got fresh prime, sat down, beat the flint with his key, pulling off his hat and wig, and said he would die like a gentleman, and shot himself through the head.
No pigs, fowl, or other animals shall be kept in the prison, excepting the watchman's dog. No gaming shall be permitted in the prison whatsoever, and the use of musical instruments of any description by debtors or criminal prisoners is likewise forbidden.
Dear Gem, thanks for the guitar tuner you sent me. All I got to do now is get my guitar onto my prisoner's property card. This is not an easy task, as prisoners aren't supposed to sell things to each other.
In the spring, the sun grew dark at midday whilst people were eating, so that they lit candles to eat by, and the people were astonished, believing it an omen of bitter war. By the winter, Matilda, who had been empress in Germany, came to England, which was much divided. Some supported King Stephen and some the empress. Some earls and powerful men brought the empress from London to the stronghold of Oxford Castle. When King Stephen heard of this, he besieged her in the tower. Unhindered and unharmed, she left the castle and passed through the king's pickets, crossing the frozen mill stream and escaping to Wallingford, tricking the eyes of her besiegers by her white clothes in the dazzle of the snow.
I got called in this morning for my D category board. The governor said all my reports were excellent, but because I was in for political offences, he was reluctant to give it to me. However, I did manage to persuade him in the end. What a relief, I should now be able to get home leaves every 2 months, and possibly even outside work.
Edward Ludlow's narrative, 1644. Whilst attending the King's pleasure at the Castle of Oxford, I met with a friend, Mr. Balsam, and others who had been imprisoned with me for their affection to Parliament. The prisoners, taken by the King's party, had been treated very cruelly, particularly by Smith, the castle marshal. The substance of the complaints was violence to the person, extortion, denial of meat, drink, bread and beds. No surgeon to dress their wounds, lodging in heaps, not only upon the ground, but upon bare boards, and in loathsome and filthy dungeons.
Dear Gem, have you seen Grace at all? I heard about the guy she was working with getting murdered. It's so terrible. Personally, I'm surrounded in this prison by murderers. It's dead weird. They all seem so normal.
Persons condemned to die, and against whom sentence of death is recorded. Every person convicted of murder shall, after judgment, be confined in some safe place within the prison, apart from all other prisoners. And no person but the governor, turnkey, and the chaplain and surgeon shall have access to any such convict, without the permission in writing of the court or judge.
Sir, I have troubled you with these few lines concern this horrid affair which I am in Oxford Castle, for which I hang on the morrow. But it not only, sir, taking my life, there is the poor widow that will be left to go in the wide world, and my poor mother and father with sorrow to their graves. More so if I were guilty, which I am not. I hope you will relieve the widow that left behind, if Bedlam is not her doom. So no more at present. From the unfortunate youth, Giles Freeman Covington, March 7th, 1791.
Dear Richard, I cut my hair today and I think it looks much better. Can't think of much to say. I think we said it all on the phone. I'm glad you're getting the job at the film and video makers. Life's on the up and up at last, isn't it? I saw Mike yesterday. He's coming to visit next week. Take care and stay happy. Lots of love, Mandy.